What does it mean when 8 powerful nations line up to shake hands with a country the West once dismissed? What message is sent when foreign ambassadors arrive not with conditions, but with respect? In Burkina Faso today, diplomacy is no longer about submission. It's about sovereignty, solidarity, and strength. June 26, 2025, a day of quiet significance in Ouagadougou, yet a thunderous echo across global diplomacy. Inside the grand halls of the Koulouba Presidential Palace, 8 new ambassadors stood in line, not merely to present letters, but to bear witness to a new era. An era led by a young revolutionary Captain Ibrahim Traoré, who has redefined Burkina Faso not as a pawn on the world stage, but as a sovereign voice of the African people. Each handshake today was more than protocol. It was a statement. Burkina Faso is no longer bowing. It is building partnerships on its terms. Let's explore who these nations are, what history they share with the land of the upright people, and what this diplomatic wave truly signifies. Republic of India. India and Burkina Faso may seem worlds apart geographically, but in ideology, both nations share a history of non-alignment, resistance to colonial influence, and grassroots empowerment. Diplomatic ties were officially established in 1976, and India has since provided scholarships, agricultural training, and medical aid through its Technical and Economic Cooperation (ITEC) program. Burkina Faso has benefited from Indian support in solar electrification, rural development, and ICT training centers. But today's visit isn't just about old ties, it's about new possibilities. With India's rise as a global power and Burkina Faso asserting itself as a sovereign African force, both nations are poised to deepen trade, technology exchange, and education cooperation. This is South-South cooperation in action. Republic of Turkey. Turkey has become a quiet yet strategic player in Africa's development story, and Burkina Faso is a part of that chapter. Formal diplomatic relations were only launched in 2012, but the pace has been rapid. Turkey opened its embassy in Ouagadougou in 2014 and began building projects through the Turkish Cooperation and Coordination Agency (TICA). From infrastructure to mosque construction, Turkey's soft diplomacy has grown stronger. Military training and defense cooperation have also expanded, especially as Burkina Faso confronts terrorism without depending on Western military bases. Under Traoré, relations with Turkey may enter a more assertive phase: mutual defense, trade in agricultural technology, and sovereign partnerships. This isn't charity, it's mutual respect. Republic of Cuba. If any country understands resistance, it's Cuba. And if any country understands the price of sovereignty, it's Burkina Faso. Cuban-Burkinabe relations were strongest under Thomas Sankara in the 1980s, when both nations stood boldly against imperialism. Cuba provided medical professionals, and Burkina Faso sent students for training in Havana. That flame flickered over the decades, but today, Captain Traoré's leadership echoes the very revolutionary spirit that once united the two nations. Cuba's return to Burkina Faso isn't just nostalgic, it's strategic. Expect to see new collaborations in healthcare, education, and biotechnology as both nations revive a relationship grounded in Pan-African anti-imperialist solidarity. Gabonese Republic. As fellow members of the Economic Community of Central African States, ECAS, Gabon and Burkina Faso have always interacted through regional platforms. But with Burkina Faso shifting away from French influence, a recalibration is happening. Gabon recently went through its own military transition, echoing the wave of coups sweeping Francophone Africa. This creates common ground with Burkina Faso, not in chaos, but in questioning colonial governance models. This new diplomatic appointment could foster economic cooperation, climate resilience initiatives, and security collaboration, especially against transnational threats. From Libreville to Ouagadougou, the message is clear. Africa is talking to Africa, and Africans are listening. Republic of Equatorial Guinea. Though small in population, Equatorial Guinea is rich in oil and resources and has taken a unique stance in African diplomacy by investing in continental partnerships rather than relying solely on the West. Burkina Faso and Equatorial Guinea have maintained stable relations through the African Union and regional security forums. With both nations seeking independent development models, this diplomatic gesture opens doors for joint infrastructure investments, energy cooperation, and even cultural exchange. In an era where French influence is being questioned, alliances between African states with strong presidential systems and bold foreign policies are becoming the new normal. Republic of Sierra Leone. Burkina Faso and Sierra Leone share a powerful bond forged in resilience and rebirth. Both nations have endured the darkest storms: civil war, terrorism, coups, and external manipulation. Yet both have emerged determined to write their own stories. Diplomatic ties stretch back to the post-independence era, but now there's an opportunity to expand collaboration in agriculture, post-conflict reconstruction, and peacekeeping strategies. With Sierra Leone's experience in post-war healing and Burkina Faso's current stabilization process, this partnership could become a blueprint for African-led conflict resolution. Grand Duchy of Luxembourg. It might come as a surprise, but Luxembourg has quietly supported humanitarian efforts and development programs in Burkina Faso through the European Union and bilateral aid. While not a major global player like India or Turkey, Luxembourg represents the Western Bloc's remaining hopes of maintaining influence through soft diplomacy. The arrival of their ambassador is both symbolic and strategic, an effort to stay relevant in a region shifting eastward and inward. The question remains, will future partnerships be truly equal or simply attempts to repackage old control mechanisms? Under Traoré, Burkina Faso is likely to make that choice very clear. People's Republic of Bangladesh. A rising voice from South Asia, Bangladesh has proven that poverty is not destiny. Development is possible through self-reliance and social innovation. Burkina Faso has much to learn from Bangladesh's journey in microfinance, textile industries, and rural health delivery. The diplomatic presence of Bangladesh also signifies a broader global South realignment, one where African and Asian nations are building direct relationships, bypassing Western gatekeepers. As both countries look to the future, expect cooperation in women's empowerment, education, and climate adaptation. This is diplomacy with purpose, not pity. Before we continue, a heartfelt thank you to all our subscribers and supporters of Voice of Africa. Your comments, shares, and super thanks are helping reshape the narrative of Africa by Africans for the world. If you believe in African sovereignty and truth-driven storytelling, hit that like button and subscribe now. Your voice matters. 8 nations, 1 red carpet. But the message isn't about foreign dignitaries. What does it mean when 8 powerful nations line up to shake hands with a country the West once now dismissed, commanding global attention? What message is sent when foreign ambassadors arrive not Captain with conditions, Ibrahim Traoré didn't wait for the world to approve his actions. In Burkina Faso today, diplomacy is no longer about submission for his land. It's about sovereignty, for Africa, solidarity, and strength. The world is responding. June 26, 2025. This is the new day of quiet significance in Ouagadougou, principled, thunderous echo across global diplomacy. Inside the grand halls of the Koulouba Presidential Palace, we support, new ambassadors stood in line. Let this video be more than a summary of events, but to bear witness to a reminder that Africa is not an era led by a young revolutionary captain, Ibrahim Traoré, we will no longer redefine the shadow of empire, not as a pawn on the world stage. We will build, but as a sovereign voice of the African people. Subscribe, share this handshake today was more than protocol on the land of the upright people. Burkina Faso is no longer the world is watching. It is building partnerships on its terms. Let's explore who these